Well, hey,
So-
we hope everyone enjoyed their Thanksgiving and having a wonderful holiday season so far. I'm so excited about this episode. It's talking about my alma mater, the University of South Florida, and who we have on, not only a dear friend, but honestly just a mentor in the community, an incredible businessman, someone who gives back to our youth and mentors, even adults at that. And so he is just incredible. We got to give him the proper introduction. He's a Tallahassee native. Shout out to the 850. We're going to go down that road and talk about all things there. He's a man of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, graduate from the University of South Florida, former USF quarterback, Super Bowl champion, author, and a whole bunch of other stuff. BJ Daniels. BJ, we're so happy to have you.
It's a blessing to be here.
What's
Thank
up,
y'all for having me.
BJ?
Appreciate y'all.
What's going on, BJ? How are you, man?
Man, I'm great, man. I'm just living life the best way I know how.
That's
Well,
what's
it's
up,
like
man.
all the lights came on and like all the people in the newsroom like, oh my God, when he came in. No, I'm just kidding.
Man.
How have you been though? How was Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving was good. I went back to Tallahassee,
Okay.
you know.
Come on.
Hung out with the family a little bit, and I got a chance to be in one household, which I forgot how that felt. So mom, dad, two little sisters.
Yeah.
Mom knocking on the door of the bathroom, talking about stop running her water. So those things happened, but it was a great time. It was a great time.
Good.
Yeah.
Back in Tallahassee. How'd that feel?
It felt good. Tallahassee's changing, it's growing. Obviously, Florida State, FAMU, and TCC, Tallahassee Community College, there's a lot going on, and
Yeah.
restructuring, rebuilding, regentrification. It's just a bunch of re-upping. It's a whole bunch of
A
new
bunch
stuff.
of rees.
Yeah.
It's good when you go back home and you see there's growth and you know, the city's moving forward. So
Yeah.
that's the way I am when I go back to Tennessee, man. But I'm not there yet, ready to move back, you know.
Oof.
So I
Tallahassee's a hard one to be like, I want to move back to Tallahassee.
Yeah, I don't think I ever want to do
That's
that
a
again.
tough one right
good to
there.
go back and visit, right?
Yeah.
Always good to go back and visit.
So for all the folks listening, BJ and I go back. We weren't in high school at the same time.
No.
But we both went to the same high school, Lincoln High School, which best high school in Tallahassee for the most
Absolutely.
part.
You can
For
say
the
it
most
with your
part.
chest.
My sister went to Lincoln as well, and just growing up from Tallahassee, that's clearly where the dream began. So like, take us back to the 850 days.
Yeah. So strange thing about me is I grew up in a dorm room on Florida State's campus until I was 7. So I grew up watching Charlie Ward, and everyone in
nice.
Tampa Bay knows Derek Brooks.
Yep.
You know, so those were the guys I watched. But from that dorm room, I ended up going to Lincoln High School. My parents moved out to the suburbs, but yeah, Lincoln was a great experience for me. It taught me everything that I know now: hard work, dedication. I mean, our high school, as you possibly you do know, should have been a Netflix series. There was a lot of drama.
Ooh, child.
There was some stuff going on in the school, outside the school.
I don't know about Netflix.
Is that a whole nother episode? Do we need to dive into that?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Here we go. Okay.
No.
But we had it all. You know, we had
Yeah.
it all. We also had, you know, some really fine athletes, student athletes and scholars. And, you know, we made the most of the opportunities we were given. And a lot of us have gone on and done some really successful things,
Yeah.
like yourself.
Thank you. Now, were y'all? Did y'all win state? When you were there?
No, so my granddad used
Okay.
to tell me like I was the problem because we won state before me. We won state after me.
Because yeah, we
So I was
we
the
won
issue,
state
apparently.
there.
Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't remember if you did or not. But then so what happened? At what point in your career, right? Or technically, like when you're in high school and the dream or the realization that you really can't go to the next level and do this. When did that happen for you?
Probably not until like the end of my senior year. You know, going into my senior year of high school, I didn't really have all the opportunities and scholarships, and people really wanted to, pick me up or give me an opportunity, right? So, me and my dad sat down. We created a goal going into my senior year. We're gonna score 50 touchdowns, and we're gonna be Mr. Florida, and we're gonna do all these great things.
Okay.
And by the end of my senior year, I accomplished none of those things. No
Really?
state championship, no nothing, right? But I missed the mark, but I created a new opportunity for myself because I didn't get 50. I got 45.
Oh, that's what's up.
We didn't go to state championship, but I went to the game before state. You know,
Okay.
so I was able to put myself out on the platform where college coaches were starting to notice. So I had opportunities from Alabama, from Michigan. I didn't really trust, the coaching staff at the time.
Okay.
But Jim Levitt, came in my office or came in my parents' house, and he had always been dedicated to just recruiting a young, shorter, quarterback and myself. And I wanted to go somewhere where they loved me, not where they liked me. And that's what I tell young athletes today. you know, one day you're going to throw an interception, your girlfriend's going to break up with you, you're going to fail a test, things are going to happen.
Yeah.
But how you're treated after you make a mistake is what's important. And South Florida was just a no-brainer for me.
BJ, that's an interesting story that you had with you said you and your dad sat down your senior year and set these goals for you. Talk about the work ethic that you had leading up to that moment and just the discipline that it took to get to maybe not reach the 50 touchdowns, but the 45.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, I was just fueled by just the word no. I feel like I've heard that all my life, you know, and when people say, no, you can't do that, or you're not tall enough, or you're not good enough, like those things kind of just motivated me every day. And, you know, and I literally mean every day to kind of just find something to get better at. And did I have that complete, total control as a young child? No, but I knew there was something within me that just wasn't sitting right consistently. So I wanted to just make sure that all the attention that all my other teammates were getting, because I was a quarterback, so the receiver was getting Texas, the running back was getting Alabama, the free safety was getting, you know, USC. And I'm like, man, I play with these guys. Right. Like, why are they not talking to me? You know, so that kind of put me in the mindset of, okay, well, let's figure out what you can do to propel yourself to the next level. Yeah. And at the end of the day, I mean, my blessing came with coming to South Florida and, you know, we'll probably get to it, but going back to Florida State, you know, you make your enemies your footstool.
Yeah.
So the people that told me I was not good enough or
that's that
tall
game
enough,
right there.
Yeah. You know, I go to USF and then have the opportunity to go back to Tallahassee and play against Florida State in my hometown, across the street from where I grew up. But at the end of the day, I had to all give all honor and glory to God. It wasn't even about me in that moment. It was about where he propelled me to be. So.
Well, that's good, man, because my son right now is a junior in high school and played varsity basketball, and him and I always have these conversations. He's a short dude. He's a small dude. And I try to tell him all the time. I try to send him all kind of motivational this, motivational that. Yeah. Like your size has nothing to do with it. It's your heart.
Oh, yeah.
But shout out to your dad for sitting down with you, and you guys are willing to talk through the real expectations going forward so you can get to that next level, man. Yeah. So.
Well, I feel like just the title of a quarterback is hell all by itself. You know what I mean?
On top of that, the fact that you're 5'11"?
Yeah.
5'11". A 5'11" quarterback. Yeah, going into the next level. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think that's obvious.
You know, and so when you were going from the high school level to the collegiate level, was there added pressure for you? Like you're a quarterback.
Yeah,
but like if let's be real.
Okay.
If a team loses, who you blaming?
Quarterback.
The coach and the quarterback.
Quarterback. Yep.
That's it.
Absolutely.
Well, that comes along with the responsibility and the pressure of that position. So,
right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, truth is, like, I probably received more credit than I deserved, and I also got more blame than I deserved as well. You know, but that comes with it. And at the end of the day, man, I really wanted to make sure that I was in a position to give and serve and help. So that's just who I am as, you know, just a person. So to be on the football field, to have that opportunity, man, I just wanted to make sure that everything was okay. Everybody was getting along. The
Even
ball
at
was going
that
to
age?
the right places. Oh yeah. I was a crybaby at an early age. So, you know, if we didn't win, I was upset. And if I didn't get along with somebody, I was bothered by that. And I'm still kind of like that to this day, you know. Yeah.
Good for you. I mean, and you already brought it up. I mean, your success at USF needs no explanation, but for the unfortunate folks who don't know anything about it, you get to USF. What was the culture like for the football team there?
Yeah, so kind of like myself with being a shorter black quarterback with my stature and just my back against the wall, a lot of the players that went to USF were, you know, guys that probably were not highly recruited. People that really had a chip on their shoulders and really wanted to prove something. So, you know, I can go down the list of just a number of guys that didn't, you know, Florida State, Miami, you know, didn't want them. So they go to USF, and then we play against the Goliaths of Florida, and then we play against other teams in other conferences. And it was really exciting just to have that opportunity to go against the bigger schools and make a name for ourselves. And that was always our goal. So that culture there, with Coach Levitt, I mean, he, as everyone knows in this community, he's a fiery, feisty guy. He's very passionate. Loves this Bay Area. He's from St. Pete, and just really cares about his players. And at the end of the day, that culture was a bunch of guys that you could call misfits, the rejects, and we all came to prove it every day that we were able to play with anybody in the country.
Go ahead, Terrence.
So was USF your only offer, or did you have several others? And
Several others,
why did you choose USF?
So Alabama came in at the end, not the beginning. Difference between someone loving you and liking you. I feel like they just liked me. They didn't love me. They weren't on me the entire time throughout my high school tenure. Michigan came at the end, but my quarterback class was ridiculous. If you think about 2008, we're talking about RG3.
Yeah.
We're talking about Terrell Pryor.
Yeah.
Landry Jones.
Eli Manning in that?
Not Eli. It was he just made me draw a blank.
Okay.
But yeah, we had a bunch. We had a bunch of guys
that
in that class. Terrell Pryor was another one, like I mentioned. But at the end of the day, Andrew Luck was the other one.
Okay.
But I wanted to go somewhere that really wanted to just EJ Manuel, for example. They just wanted to take care of me, and South Florida gave me the opportunity to play football and basketball.
Okay.
So that's what I don't think a lot of people do know. My freshman year, I was on the basketball team, but once I starting in quarterback, Coach Levis said, basketball's out. So, but the opportunity was there, and that's what I really trusted with his coaching staff and this alma mater, my alma mater. So. That's the reason I chose USF, though.
Wow, that's huge. And I think what's also huge, and you can speak to this, when you're in high school and you the man. Everybody coming out, the stand. So I am a little bit younger than BJ, but my sister was there kind of around the same time as you. And so we would go to games, to go and support Lincoln, and we would go to basketball games, and everything is packed. And everybody's screaming for BJ. And so you go through these phases, right? Where in high school you are the man, you're the one to be. You're the person that everybody fears when they step on the court or the field. Then you go to college. Yeah. And do things change? Do you what has to be your approach in that realm? Because while yes, your name is still big, right, and there might be that added pressure, but you a freshman. Yep. You a pipsqueak. You on the totem pole at that point. So how do you make that adjustment?
Yeah, it was difficult. I mean, to be honest, coming out of Lincoln High School my senior year in Tallahassee, I was Mr. Basketball and Mr. Football. I was one of the first people to win both football and basketball awards for the entire county.
Yeah.
But then when I go to USF, and my recruiting process was, okay, you're gonna get chicken, shrimp, and the cheerleader's gonna be outside, and it's gonna be a great deal. So I'm thinking I'm gonna get this every weekend because I got it for my recruiting visit.
Ooh, woo, child.
So I show up to campus, and they're yelling at me. It's during the summer session, so nobody's on campus. We eating at the cafeteria. I got to be at workouts at 6 a.m. And then the things they told me about having an opportunity to play didn't happen because they redshirted me. So I was like, my whole world just crashed, and I'm looking at all these other players that are older than me, bigger than me, have more knowledge of the game than I do. And now I'm not having the opportunity to play. So my world definitely came to a halt where I was like, Mom and Dad, I want to transfer. I want to leave. I don't want to be here anymore because everything that I was presented is not like that anymore. The honeymoon phase is over. Now I actually have to get to work and compete against the other Mr. Floridas or Mr. All Cities and All States. And,
that's right.
I'll never forget, I go to USF and it's Matt Grothe. That's the only person so Matt Grothe is one of the greatest quarterbacks in USF history.
Yikes. I'm so sorry, Matt. Ooh,
oh, yeah. Just went in the Hall of Fame, actually.
Oh, Matt. Love you so bad.
Oh, yeah. That's my guy. But he's there as a senior. And I'm like, okay, well, he's a senior. I'm a freshman. I'm probably not going to have any opportunity to play. But in between that, people don't talk about it. There's Matt Grothe. There's another guy named Grant Gregory. There's another quarterback there as well. So I'm like fourth on the depth chart. They don't need me. Let's redshirt him and put him on ice. So I'm like, man, this ain't it.
You talking about a hurdle, right?
Yeah, because I started. I mean, I praise God for it, but I've never sat the bench in any sport that I've ever played until I got to college.
Well, what drove you to just keep pushing forward? Because I'm telling you, like you said, that was like, Mom, Dad, I'm done. I don't want to go here. I don't want to. Yeah. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not used to this. Yeah. Low point in my life at the time,
Yeah. It was I think the only thing that saved me is if I was redshirting in football, I was getting my competitive itch scratched playing basketball.
Okay.
That is
There you
true
go.
because you were
know,
playing ball that
so
first
I think
year.
that's what really kind of just kept me,
Did you get a lot of playing time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I played in almost every game in my first year in basketball. I mean, I had a great time. We were in the Big East, so
Yeah.
the Big East back in the day was extremely tough. DePaul, Syracuse, Georgetown, Louisville.
Oh, wow.
Had a chance to play in the Madison Square Garden.
Nice.
You know, so like those opportunities that I was experiencing were still new to me. First time flying on an airplane was in college. You know, so there are things that I'm still like excited about that are happening around me.
Yeah.
And I could be mad about football, but I'm still getting new experiences I've never had before. So, so I was very thankful for that, for sure. But
What year was that FSU game for you?
2009, yeah,
Okay. So that was your first year playing.
first year playing.
Wow. So for the folks who don't know, take us through the FSU game. Let them know the story.
Okay, well, small town, you know, kid, grew up in Tallahassee, grew up in a dorm room across the street from Florida State. Like I said, watched Derrick Brooks, Charlie Ward. I always wanted to play in Florida State Stadium. That was my dream. Every Saturday, I would wake up, and across the street, I would hear all these fans screaming, people tailgating around outside of my
Drunk on Tennessee Street.
Yeah, and when I say I grew up on that campus, my dad was a dorm director.
Okay.
So I literally grew up in a dorm room.
Wow.
On the first floor, it was more of an apartment style kind of thing. It was 2 bedrooms, but everything above us was the dorms we're all thinking of, where you roll over and you look at somebody that's
And they right there in your
picking
face.
their nose
Yeah.
or something, right? So, but yeah, just always wanting to be in that situation. Not having the opportunity, not being recruited by Florida State at all. Bobby Bowden was still the head coach. Jimbo Fisher was offensive coordinator. You know, I remember Jimbo Fisher did come to Lincoln and ask me if I would transition to play free safety. And I told him, man, I've never tackled anybody in my life, so don't expect me to go to the collegiate level against guys that have done it.
And start.
Yeah, so that's not going to happen. And so I went to USF. Jim Levitt obviously recruited me. Florida State was not even on the radar. So my first year, I'm redshirting playing basketball. The very next year, Florida State gets on the schedule. So I'm just excited because I'm still on the team. I'm on the football team. I'm the backup quarterback. I'm behind Matt Grothe. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to be excited to go back to Tallahassee just to wear my uniform, stand on the sidelines,
And
look
be
at
a
my
part.
friends and family, just be a part of it, right? Matt Grothe tears his ACL the game before we play against Florida State. The game before.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
the game before. So enters a 18-year-old BJ Daniels who had never started in college ever, but he's starting back in his hometown against a team that didn't recruit him. And you know, I'm looking at church members in the stands, people that work at a hospital with my mother, with my dad, Lincoln High School alumni. I'm looking at all this happen around me, and I'm like, now's my time. Another thing that, you know, we kind of touched on earlier was I've always tried my best to prepare myself as if I was the man before I became the man.
Yeah.
You know, so behind the scenes, I still was studying, running sprints, doing the extra work, just hoping that I had that opportunity, and when it came, I would be ready.
You would show up.
So yeah, so
You didn't have that Willie Beeman moment, did you? Where you vomited on the field just from nerves?
Well, I didn't throw up, but I cried.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm standing on the field before the game, and tears are coming down my face as I'm like throwing the ball and warming up and all that kind of stuff. And Coach Levitt walks up to me. He's like, man, what's wrong with you? I said, Coach, I'm just so emotional. I'm just thankful to be here. He said, you need to get ready. I said, Coach, I'm ready. I'm just looking in the stands. And my dad, we used to sit there and, you know, and watch Charlie Ward play. And he's like, yeah, okay, that's cool. And he slapped me on the back of the head and said, come on, let's
for
go.
after the game.
Right.
Yeah.
So lo and behold, he was the one crying after the game because we ended up winning.
That's great,
Yep.
man.
You know,
Great
so it was a blessing.
Wow. And have we even beat FSU since?
No, we haven't. we can beat them this year. I'm gonna say it. We'll beat them this year.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
You about right on
because
that.
FSU is
You about right on
trash.
that.
FSU is trash. My
yeah,
mama went to
you
FSU, and I'm like,
You
girl,
about right on that.
they are terrible.
Now you got to lay light on the Florida State stuff because we still got to go back home.
We do, and that's fine. And I would still let them know that they are trash and they need to do something about it. I think just your story of resilience and what it took to even get there, because that's only like halfway there.
Yeah.
You had dreams of going to the NFL. Yeah. So how did that play out? Post-college, those conversations with actually trying to get drafted, because you did.
Well,
so what did that look like?
Well, let me take it a step back. You talked about going into your senior year of high school, not really having any offers to making that achievement, that 1 year difference. Now, going back to Deanne's question is, you're now a college quarterback.
Yeah.
Where and what point did it hit you that you could play at the next level?
I literally started watching, and this happened to me in high school too. I'm looking at everybody else around me that's getting opportunities. And I'm like, man, I'm not that far off. Like, I'm comparing myself now. You know, now it's my junior year is becoming a realization, not just winning football games and giving everything you can for the university, but I could actually make this a career. Long term, you know, even with and there are people who were before me who've paved the way, right? So there are multiple black quarterbacks who are mobile and have the opportunities to make it. And you know, I idolized Michael Vick on the football field, right? So I wore number 7 because he was mobile, athletic,
and wasn't tall. He wasn't a tall quarterback either.
Wow.
You know, and so that was someone I tried to model my game after. So when I saw other people have opportunities to go and make it. Even Russell Wilson. I mean, he's a year older than I am. So to watch him get drafted and have the opportunity to play in the league, I was like, okay, well, I got a chance. You know, I got a chance. RG3 from college, you know, high school, college to the league. You know, same situation. Terrell Pryor, people I'm actually like witnessing over time. You know, have these opportunities. So
in real time.
In real time, yeah.
But how does that translate to actual talent, right? Because we're talking about like the 2%. Is the NFL, right? You have thousands of athletes who play, even on the collegiate level, right?
Yeah.
And the NFL is literally like that 2%. So talent-wise, was there a moment, what was it, the stats, or like did your coach tell you like, BJ, like you could go to the league? Because everybody on a college football team is talented.
Right.
But unfortunately, not everybody has the talent to go to the next level.
Yeah, I mean, I always wanted that to be a dream and goal of mine. Did I necessarily, was it fair for me to compare myself to the people I just mentioned? I don't think so. RG3 won the Heisman. You know, Terrell Pryor went to Ohio State. You know, Michael Vick was a Heisman candidate. You know, Russell Wilson was a Heisman candidate. So I'm looking at these guys like, what's the difference? You know, I'm at South Florida, but I'm doing my best. You know, and then my senior year, I broke my ankle, you know, so I missed the last 3 games of my senior year. So I'm really sitting up here like, you know, down in the dumps.
Right. Like, this could be over with.
This is it. This is a wrap for me. You know, so, and, you know, I wrote a book about, you know, black men in mental health. But at the end of the day, it's called Beyond the Red Zone. But at the end of the day, like,
we're going to talk about it.
My process through, you know, from college to that NFL transition was really just leaning on, you know, my family members. Sam Barrington, who also played with me at USF, Kayvon Webster, Lindsey Lamar. We all made a pact coming into college and leaving college. We were going to be successful no matter what. That's great. So if any one of us was down, we were able to grab a brother and pick him up. Yeah. I just happened to be the one down, literally. You know, not being able to walk, not thinking I was going to make that opportunity. You know, come to life or my dream, and that was hard to think from a 6-year-old to 23. Yeah. You have this goal, and you've been nurturing and watering this flower, and then someone steps on it right before you get that opportunity to move to the next level. So, yeah, that was hard, but at the end of the day, I'm thankful that the 49ers picked me up.
Let's go.
49er gang.
Bang, bang.
You know, so Jim Harbaugh took an opportunity and chance on me, and I think I went to one of the best situations because, I mean, San Francisco had went to the Super Bowl the year before against the Ravens. So, you know, everything worked out, you know, and I just have to continue to make sure I, you know, honor God in every situation that I speak on because I wouldn't have not done any of this on my own. So,
what's up, man? What a great story, man.
And then you go to the Seahawks, and that's where you got your ring.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How was that feeling?
Man, listen, so nothing against the 49ers, right? So I make the team. I got to talk about them quickly. Throw a little
For
salt.
those that don't know, I'm a diehard 49ers fan.
This is a very safe space. Y'all know
Seattle, the Seahawks are one of our biggest rivalries. So, yes, I do know the year you're talking about.
Yeah. So the year I make the team, get drafted, make the 49ers. I got drafted. I'm crying snot bubbles out of my nose.
Yeah.
Like,
now, what round are we talking?
7th round.
7th round. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm on the team with Colin Kaepernick, Colt McCoy, Scott Tolzien, Seneca Wallace, and myself.
Ooh, man.
So that's a lineup of guys who've been in the league 5+
really long.
and above than me, right? But I performed really, really well in the preseason. So I make the team because I threw 4 touchdowns and I ran one. You know, everyone else gets cut. It's me, Colt McCoy, and BJ Daniels, and Colin Kaepernick, right? So I make the team. I'm there for 5 weeks. After that 5th week, they try to demote me to practice squad. So that means they have to cut me for 24 hours.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, so from active roster to practice squad, there's a waiver wire process you have to go through. You just can't go from here to there just like that.
Okay.
You have to give other teams in the league 24 hours to pick you up or claim you off of waivers.
Oh.
So I'm mad, okay, because I make the team. So why do you cut me in the middle of the season? What did I do? Yeah. I wasn't even playing. It was Kaepernick. He's the one that did it. It wasn't me. You know.
So why? Could you ask? Or
so roster management. That's one thing about the league. I don't think a lot of people understand.
It's that payroll because we had Alex Smith that year was the starter.
Yep.
And they had just paid him a buttload of money when they drafted him several years before that.
So they couldn't afford you?
No, it wasn't that.
It comes down. A lot of like you said, it's a business,
that what it is?
man.
Nah.
It's a business.
Don't make me an agent. They will hate me.
Yeah, you won't last long.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Man.
But yeah, so they wanted to bring in another linebacker.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with me, right? So they have to cut me to do that. Within 24 hours, the Seattle Seahawks picked me up.
That's great.
So I'm paying rent, my car, my clothes, everything is in San Francisco. But I'm the next day playing for the Seattle Seahawks.
Wow.
That's great.
And I don't think a lot of people understand when guys get traded or leave or cut, whatever, you still have a whole life you're leaving behind.
Right.
You know, so for the whole year, I'm paying rent in San Francisco, but I'm living in a hotel with the Seahawks. But here's where God was in it, right? Probably one of the most devastating things for me, right? I'm like, oh, man, mom and dad, I'm coming back home. All right, I got to use my degree in criminology. I got to figure out if I'm going to be a police officer in Tampa or Tallahassee. Which one of those TPDs I'm going to work for, right?
Literally.
So I'm like, okay, San Fran, the Seahawks picked me up. And that same year, we would go to the Super Bowl.
Wow.
And that same year, we win the Super Bowl. And the game before, we go to the Super Bowl, unfortunately. For your sake, sir, we play against the 49ers.
Ooh.
And we beat them.
Woo.
I remember that game. Crabtree, Richard Sherman, all that.
Yeah.
Karma. So in the league, what is life looking like for you? Because you're talking about the Seahawks. Who was the starting quarterback?
Russell Wilson.
Right? So you play with him. And so what does that look like as far as your roles and your duties as like first string backup quarterback?
Yeah. I have to know everything that Russell knows. I have to do everything that Russell's doing. I have to be at every meeting. I have to live every weight. I have to learn every scheme, every detail or minute detail in the playbook. I also have to prove to my teammates that I'm a leader just like him. You know, but I have to do it in my own way. And that's where I think a lot of people don't really understand. Each quarterback has their own nuances. So, for example, for me, I'm very feisty, very competitive.
I can confirm.
You know, so it was easy for a guy like Marshawn Lynch to still be one of my closest friends because of how we relate to each other. Doesn't matter where we're from. Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas, Richard Sherman, Michael Bennett. You know, these are all Hall of Fame potential guys in the league.
Yes, and the question is, why aren't they? A lot of those guys aren't in the Hall of Fame, man.
Yeah. I mean, we all did it our own way.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people can attest to that. You know, but maybe not the most political, politically correct people. But we all did it our own way, and you know, I'm required to make sure that if Russell goes down, then I'm prepared and I can not skip a beat.
Yeah.
The blessing in the fact that I was there as well is me and Russell are not too much apart in our athletic abilities. So we're similar in stature. We're both mobile quarterbacks. You can run the same plays with him that you can run with me. So that was something that was really cool and exciting for me to have and be a part of as well.
Well, let's talk about just how humble you are, because you, again, going back to high school, you were the man. You had to humble yourself in college, work your way up the ranks. But you know, we know the NFL is a bit different.
Yeah.
You do all this practice, you do all this studying, you take all these reps, and you may go an entire year or entire season without even seeing the field.
Yeah.
How did that mentally affect you?
Yeah, it was hard. I mean, I wanted to play every week.
Yeah.
I mean, Monday through Saturday, I'm doing everything that the starting quarterback is doing.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
But then when Sundays come, I'm having to be one of his biggest supporters.
Yep.
You know, when he comes off to the sideline, he's not talking to the other receivers.
Yeah.
He's talking with the quarterback, the other quarterbacks, and the quarterback coach, trying to figure out, well, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? What can I do better at? Or what did you see from the sideline? Or what did the safety do? And I'm having to now support him and not be the guy with the jealous bone in my back talking about, well, the guy really did that, but I'm over here like, well, he really, you know.
Yeah. I would have done it
set
this
him
way.
up. I wouldn't have did it that way.
I would have done that. I would have done this.
You know, I can't be that guy.
Yeah.
So
wow.
So yeah, it was interesting. The blessing is that year, our team was so good. We had opportunities for me to play in multiple games.
That's good.
Because we were really successful that year. You know, and then it got to a point for me where I did it for 3.5, 4 years in Seattle, and I said, man, I'm tired of this. You know, I either want to go to another team, or we're gonna figure something out different, because like I'm now over the Super Bowl high.
Yeah.
I'm now over the you know, celebrity status of being on one of the hottest teams in the league. I want to play, and I went back to like just how I was as a child. I'll do it for free.
Yeah.
Just put me in the game.
Yeah.
You know, so I ended up changing my position my last year with the Seahawks, and actually played receiver and was the emergency quarterback. So for me to get on the field, now you're just talking about a kid wanting to live his dream and run around a little bit. You know, so that's what I did eventually, which kind of, you know, people ask me all the time, do you regret it? A little bit, you know, because I always wanted to play quarterback. So I chose USF because of that opportunity to play quarterback. So at one point I thought I was like changing myself, losing myself a little bit, but at the same time there's still that competitive nature within me that
you know,
I'm the kid in the backyard, you know, throwing the ball up in there and making moves. That's now I'm doing that on a professional level. So I'm satisfying that competitive nature that I have in me to just be able to run around and do stuff I've never done, which is also crazy to say. I've ran down on kickoff. I've made tackles. I've scored touchdowns at receiver. I've done things on a professional level that I've never practiced prior to the NFL.
That's real.
Never.
Yeah.
And unheard of, honestly. That's quite unheard of. So how long were you in the league total?
6 years.
6 years. So at what point are you like, all right, I got to figure something else out?
When that check stopped coming in?
Yeah, man. That's the real answer right
When
there.
that check stopped coming in. Right.
Man, them checks look, they different now.
Yeah.
And that's when?
And them bills be billing.
Yeah. Well, especially because you've established a certain kind of lifestyle.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sure you can only imagine what the bills look like.
Light-skinned Kappas spend money, boy, I tell you.
There you go. And so at what point are you like, okay, what do I do? Where am I going? Who paying for this?
Man, so
What's
I was
next? What am I doing? Yeah.
like I had a reality check, man. I'm so Atlanta Falcons was the last NFL team I played for, right?
Yeah.
So we go to Super Bowl in Atlanta. So I've been blessed enough to be a part of 3 Super Bowls, right? Everyone in Tampa loves Tom Brady. Woohoo.
Yeah, that was a tough.
But I didn't like him when he was with the Patriots.
Patriots?
Yeah, I wasn't a fan. I was not a fan. But because out of the 3 Super Bowls, you have the one we win, we beat the Broncos, Seahawks versus Broncos. The next year, we don't get the ball to Marshawn Lynch on the 1 yard line.
You pass on the 1 yard line.
Yeah.
That's the moment where you sat back and said, I would have done it this way, right?
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
That's one of those selfish moments. What are you doing, bro?
I would have scored.
What are you doing, bro?
Hello.
So,
Yeah.
okay, go ahead.
But then the last one, Atlanta versus the Patriots again. So that 28-3 fourth quarter comeback, you know, let the whole city of Atlanta down, literally. But yeah, I was in Atlanta, retired 2018. You know, got injured, had surgery, got healthy, and I'm living in Atlanta, and I'm realizing that no one in this city cares anything about who you are as a football player. You have Tyler Perry, you have rappers, you have singers, you have all these celebrities.
Real
in Atlanta.
Housewives.
Like love and hip hop Atlanta, like.
And don't nobody care about BJ Daniels.
Right, at all.
Jesus. They
all.
care about Tyler Perry and Madea.
Yeah, oh yeah. So I'm just there like, what am I doing? And I lived in Atlanta for a whole year. Didn't get another phone call.
Yeah. You realize in Atlanta, too, your money don't go as far.
Yeah, that too.
Because you're a light-skinned Kappa.
And then and I'm still trying to keep up with the Joneses. I'm, everybody going out, I'm going to go out.
The name of the episode, Light Skin Kappa.
It was bad.
Man.
Oh, yeah.
So then you come to Tampa?
I come to Tampa.
Okay.
I went to Tallahassee first.
I was gonna say because you coached at Lincoln.
At Lincoln, I went back. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I talk about this all the time.
Full circle.
Yeah. So my social equity was not very high.
Okay.
All right. So that's me being able to go into different rooms based off who I am, what I represent, which has allowed me to be in more rooms than any financial dollar I've ever had. My social equity in Atlanta was at a 0. Okay.
Yeah.
Nobody cared.
Yeah.
But for me to be able to go back to my hometown, Tallahassee, the value of my name was increased, is a lot higher. Right. And then for me to come back to Tampa, this is a place that I'm going to call home as long as I can. Right. No matter what city I've been in. But yeah, going back to Tallahassee was where I went, and I decided to coach high school football. I became the head coach of the high school, my alma mater, our alma mater that we went to, Lincoln High School, and from there, God was testing me, about my service. So for me, there was a time in my NFL career where I literally had to understand that I'm doing this and I'm gathering tools for somebody else. Yeah. So the white picket fence, the dog in the backyard, the being married and retire when you want to, and the Super Bowls, all the playing time, like that wasn't what God was trying to give me or show me. Right. He wanted me to get to a certain point where I gather all these tools and then I take them and then use them for something else or someone else. So never did I think it would turn into a book. Never did I think it would turn into mentorship. Never did I think I would be a high school head coach. Never did I think I would be at USF giving back to these student athletes, telling them, the good and the bad, the right and the wrong. And then when they come in my office, I laugh at them all the time. They get real sensitive. This era is amazing. But they come in my office and they're like, man, I just did this. And I start laughing at them. Yeah. And like, man, what you laughing at? That ain't funny. I said, I'm laughing because I already went through that. Right. And here's how you navigate. So I never thought that my journey would bring me back to this point for sure. That's what's up, man. That's
we are so proud of you. Your story is just so remarkable. At USF, what do you think are the biggest change that you've noticed from when you were on the field playing, leading the team to now in your role? Because you're the assistant. It's a long title, child.
It's a long
assistant
title.
Development and communication.
Christ. We couldn't y'all, for the people who are watching, we couldn't even fit it on the screen, okay?
The community.
We couldn't even fit it on the screen. So one, explain what your role is, but talk about the differences that you've seen now in the role that you're in now compared to when you were actually a player and a student at USF.
So in the last 3 years, I go from assistant quarterback coach to assistant director of donor, community, and alumni engagement. So raising money for funds for the stadium that we're obviously, just did groundbreaking for.
That's big news. That's great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We need it.
Yeah.
We needed it just to catch up with college football. But so raising money for the stadium, getting our student athletes in the community with mentorship things or job opportunities. And then the alumni part is just, making sure all of our alumni feel welcome, athletic alumni, that is, still feel welcome to come back no matter who their coach is or was, who they played for or not. But just continue to make them feel engaged.
We're going to keep massaging that one. That's a different episode.
Shout out to the football team this year for making the
bowl game. We're going bowling this year.
We're bowling. Yeah.
You guys going to Hawaii.
Yeah.
And taking on San Jose State.
Yeah, San Jose State. Yeah.
Are you going?
I am.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm going. I'm going to miss Christmas, though.
Yeah, because it's Christmas Eve.
It's Christmas Eve, October. December 24th, yeah.
So, without jeopardizing your job, how do you think we really are doing?
We're doing well.
Football-wise.
We're doing well. I think number one, what people have to realize, this we haven't done this since maybe 2017 or 18. Right.
Okay.
Going back-to-back bowl games.
Yeah.
So that's not easy to do.
With a new coach. 2 years.
A new coach.
This is the second year, right?
It's only his second year.
Yeah.
So hoping to continue to improve.
Is this his first year as a head coach? Because I know he was a second year.
Yeah, second
He
year.
was an assistant up at University of Tennessee.
Yeah. He sure was.
Well, that's big time, man. For you guys to do back-to-back bowl games with new head coach, new recruits,
right?
Yeah,
all the above. So let's talk about this, man. Talk about the recruiting process of college football today with the portal and the NIL deals.
Yeah.
Ooh,
and
again, yes, because I wanted to ask you about that because you would have made a whole bunch of money, friend.
Yes. Because for you guys to achieve the success you have, new coach, second year, bowl game, talk about the difficulty you guys face or USF face when it comes down to that.
Yeah, I mean, we're somewhat at a disadvantage a little bit at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, for example, like the University of Florida has already built their stadium. Florida State already has their stadium. Miami already has their stadium. All right, we're doing both. We're building stadiums and supporting our student athletes in NIL. So what people don't understand, I hope, you know, they'll soon learn. We need the community support.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, we need local businesses, and we know, and a donor is not someone that gives $50,000. A donor is someone that helps a student athlete in any way. So $5 for me, when I was playing, would have gone a long way.
Yeah.
I had $5 in my pocket. So we beat Florida State on ESPN, but I go home and I only have my meal plan card.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we're talking about, I got some food because I'm on scholarship, right?
That's
but
real.
What about the toiletries? What about, you know, me and my girlfriend taking her out to eat? You know, what about
Right.
No, that's real.
bills? Or and there are you know, student athletes that have children. You know, so there are a lot of other things that are life things that our student
gotta
athletes
face.
have to take care of.
Yeah.
You know, so it would go a long way and help us a lot. So, but yeah, the NIL thing, a lot of colleges do the pay for play. You know, that's part of their recruiting.
Yeah, man.
Which is not
Is that
what
a
you're
part of
supposed to
USF?
do. No,
Okay.
not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that makes it harder. That makes it harder for recruitment
yeah.
for small schools like USF.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you think about that though? Like, man, if we
yeah.
had NIL when I was in college,
Oh yeah,
I
absolutely.
do too, Chad.
Absolutely.
I would have been trying to make as
also-
much money as possible.
Yeah. Also, you also want to talk about, or if you can, talk about the fact that this bowl game, 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
What does the future look like for USF next year going forward?
Yeah.
New stadium opens up in
2026?
2026?
Yeah, 2027 actually.
The
Oh,
excitement.
now we
You
wrong.
use that as a recruitment tool, correct?
Yeah.
And then going back to what you said in high school, you just wanted to get somewhere that you can play.
Yeah.
That's a huge recruitment tool, correct? Right?
Yeah.
Right? Because a lot of these guys can go to the Alabamas and the Georgias,
Right.
but they may
Can
not see the
they?
field.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they come to USF. Look at me. I'm out here recruiting for you.
Yeah,
guys.
you are. Nah, you're doing a
You
good
come out
job.
here to, you go to USF, you have a huge opportunity.
We just gotta
to
get you a
even
business
make it to
card.
the next level.
We got to get him a business.
Let's
card.
go.
What?
No, but that's real though.
Yeah, because what does the future look like?
I think obviously, you know, this has been in conversation a lot, but conference realignment, you know, us potentially moving to a different conference. I think that's going to help us generate more dollars, put us on the national scene. And the reason I say that is because who we're playing is important.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
you know, there's the conference we're in is the American has done very well with the platform that they've given us and how we've been successful in that, being able to go back-to-back bowl games and win 6 games. But you know, there's other conferences out there that could do a lot more to generate revenue from a TV contract perspective, which will help us
For sure.
with our, you know, just our community aspect. I mean, how excited would you be? You know, for example, USF played Alabama a year ago.
Yeah.
Okay,
That thing
stadium
was
was packed.
packed.
You know,
And it was a close game, too.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was packed.
You know, but I think our community deserves and wants to see us play those types of teams on a consistent basis.
Right.
Yeah.
And maybe not Alabama's, but I mean, you look at the ACC.
Yeah.
I
Right.
mean, you know, play
You're
against
Miami, you're
Miami,
FSU,
Florida State.
Florida.
Yeah, yeah. So that's going to help us with our new stadium, you know, project as well to elevate our whole entire university, because with football being one of the biggest money generating revenue sports, now you're talking about other buildings on campus. Now you're talking about
Correct.
you know, facilities. Now you're talking about, okay, we no longer have to pay the bucks to play there. All the money's going back just towards our student athletes and
Yeah.
us.
Now
That's
let's
true.
invest in other
That's true.
Right. Yep.
buildings and programs on campus.
Wow. Well, I'm excited for the future of USF. I want to talk about your future because you've talked about your journey, which has been you have a phenomenal story and you put it all in a book.
Yeah.
So share more about your
Telling
book.
all my business.
Yeah, share more about your book and what you battled with mentally.
So I love bragging about this now. You know, you talk about what does success look like, right? So I've always imagined as a Tallahassee kid in a small town, college town, wanting to be in a tall skyscraper building in the middle of downtown New York.
Oh.
And if I was in that penthouse, I was successful, right?
Okay.
On the whatever number floor that is, 232, whatever, right? But I also thought success looked that way. So for me, I've always gotten to points in this building where I'm like, yeah, I made it. And lo and behold, I'm only on the 53rd floor. You know, and I continue to battle to try to continue to go up this elevator. But then I also figured out that there are times where my head is too big for the room. So what that means for me is, you know, I'm cocky, arrogant, conceited, not doing things the right way for the right reasons. And then my head gets a bit too big for the room and God knocks me down. So I go from the 53rd to the 10th floor. You know, those things happen and life happens. You know, even to the basement where I wash uniforms at Lincoln High School. You know, after you win the Super Bowl and after you meet Obama, I'm 1:30 in the morning on a Friday night after a high school football game, after I got off a yellow school bus, washing uniforms in the basement of the high school that I went to as roaches run across the floor. I could be doing anything on that Friday at 1:30 in the morning, right? But, you know, I've gone up and down this elevator of success. And one thing that I've truly learned is the more and more I serve and give and help and provide for others, that I'm going to continue to ascend and elevate, right? So I talk about that in the book with the Super Bowls, Obama, and NFL and all that kind of stuff. I'm now sharing, okay, well, what you don't know is after we played Florida State, I was one of the biggest, hottest guys on TV on ESPN, but the very next week I was robbed at gunpoint. So you probably would have never even, my story would have ended, you know, right here in Tampa as a sophomore in college. You would have never heard of whatever the rest of the story looks like, or my senior year breaking my ankle, thinking my dream was over, or my little sister being diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma cancer. At the same time, my grandmother died of cancer. You know, so like there are things along this journey where life happens. I happen to myself, you know, but I want people to feel vulnerable enough to understand beyond this superhero athlete, you know, persona, you know, I still have to deal with real life just like anybody else, you know, so I want everyone from a mental perspective just to feel like it's okay, because through lived experience, there's no magic pill we could take to be okay. But I think you can relate to me a little more if you understand I've been through some of the things that you may have experienced as well.
As opposed to just all of the glitz and the glam and the titles and the success and all of that. Because we do that, right? And I mean, rightfully so, because you've earned every single title and accolade that you've achieved, right? You've earned it. But then people sometimes forget, like, well, what did it take to get there? And what did it look like while you were going through while you were getting there and achieving that success? So shout out to you for being vulnerable, because one, that is, it's hard to do. That's really hard to do. And especially in our community, we've talked about this. We've had episodes about what it means to be Black, what it means to be a minority, and mental health and share. Because that's one thing we are taught from a kid. What happens in his house stays in his house. Like we don't share nothing, we don't do nothing. And so shout out to you for being that example for so many of us.
I appreciate it. I just want people to understand, man, like it cost me something. It cost me something. Are you willing to carry that load? You know, because it's expensive.
So what's next for BJ Daniels? What we got planned? What's cooking?
Man, I got so many things in my plate right now. I'm just happy. Happy.
Like
man.
what?
So I'm
an ass.
Give us one or two.
One or two.
Or three.
We may need to have you on again next week or in a couple weeks. First of the year.
What we got cooking?
So book just came out. I pushed my book launch officially back to January.
Okay.
Keep us posted on that.
Absolutely.
Please.
We'll do. I just did a ESPN broadcast on ESPN Plus last Saturday. For the American conference.
You trying to come over here?
Yeah. My mama told me I got the gift of gab, so why not? I'm gonna use it.
So like commentating.
Yeah. So I did that.
And that's what you'll be doing in Hawaii at the bowl games,
absolutely.
Right?
So in Hawaii, I actually be doing the radio.
Do my research.
You're going to be doing what?
I'm going to be doing the radio broadcast in Hawaii for the USF game.
That's what's up. Okay. That's two. What's the third?
Third, so I coached the Carolina Panthers. I know this is Bucks country, but I coached with the Carolina Panthers all summer, basically. So mini camp, training camp, and preseason. Dave Canales, who was the offensive coordinator here, he actually was my wide receiver coach with the Seahawks, so that's the connection. But he hopefully, and we've been in communication that he'll contact me this upcoming off season to potentially have the opportunity to go full time. So
your goal is to get back into coaching.
Man, I really just want to be able to, it's crazy when I say this, I want to just serve.
Man, I feel you.
And everything I feel like I'm doing, I'm just, if God puts it in front of me, I'm going to explore it, and just see what happens. So between South Florida, between the book and speaking engagements, between coaching, I mean, just as long as I can give and help and use my knowledge and the tools I've been given, and I feel like I'm moving in the right space.
Man, you are,
wow.
man. BJ, you
really
are. You're moving. You've inspired me, man, and just for the fact of all the doors that's been slammed in your face and the opportunities that you had to quit. You just kept going. You kicked them doors down. You continue to push forward, man, and that's inspiring for all, not just young kids, young men, young women, athletes, but for everybody. I appreciate you, man. That's amazing. So
we're so proud of you. We give flowers here on
Absolutely.
Rooted in Progress.
Oh,
we're so proud of you. There are people in the comments who have been talking about how much they've loved watching you not grew up watching you, but watch you grow up. And so people love you. We all support you. We are so grateful to have you in this community.
I appreciate it.
I don't know for how long.
Real quick.
'Cause I caught that.
Yeah.
I caught the full time.
Okay.
Can't be full time in the temple. Just I
BJ,
don't know if
real
anybody else
quick,
got that.
Give us a plug on where people can follow you and purchase your book and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I'm on all social media platforms. I'm one of the easiest people to find. It's just BJ, and then Daniels. I don't have any, numbers or
Just
underscores.
type in light skin Kappa. Type in light skin.
Be the first
Kappa.
person that come up on Google.
First person that's gonna come up.
But book is on Amazon. It's called Beyond the Red Zone. But it's on Amazon. It's Walmart, Target, Kindle.
Did you bring us a signed copy?
I did not.
Wow.
Yeah, I did not.
That's
I owe
crazy
you that for
work.
sure.
That's crazy work.
Yeah.
We'll have dinner later.
We'll have to get it.
Well, BJ, we appreciate you
Absolutely.
for joining us
Appreciate
here on
you.
Rooted in Progress.
Thank you.
We love you. We support you. We honor you because you have done so much and you've been through so much more than I even know. I learned so much.
Yeah.
I learned so much at this episode. So we appreciate you. Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate you.
BJ, I appreciate you, man.
You
That's
feel
great.
inspired, Terrence, huh? What's
am,
the
man.
inspiration?
Coaching? Think I still got my
You
chance in
wanna
NFL?
coach?
I feel like I'm built like an athlete. So
You
maybe
know I
could-
keep it real. Do you want the real
Nah,
or you
that's
want
like-
me
you
to
can
be
save it
like,
to- you can save it
do
till we get
anything
out
you
there.
want to do,
Yeah,
Terrence.
yeah.
No,
BJ, I got
wrap
a
it
little
up.
arm too, man. So I may, when you get into Carolina and you need a backup,
It won't be
quarterback?
Terrence. Thank
Okay,
you.
there you
We
go. I just
appreciate
tried.
you.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for joining us and hanging with us on Rooted in Progress. Y'all know we
Absolutely.
are here every Thursday, 11 o'clock. If you haven't done so already, make sure you like, subscribe, and follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Spotify just put up their Wrapped, and Rooted in Progress better be in y'all top 5. Period. Okay?
Exactly.
So thank y'all for joining us. Stay rooted. We're back here next week with a really fun episode.
See you
Excited
next
about
week,
that.
folks.
Have a good one.
All right now.